What's up, guys? It's your boy Yeet here. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm coming at you with an updated Yasuie deck profile for November 2020. On the last Yasuie deck profile I posted, I put in parentheses the correct way, as after testing I found that to be the correct way. I didn't say this is the absolute way you have to play Yasuie. There is no other correct way to play it. The correct was then the correct way I found to be. Okay? I got a lot of comments about that, and so I just wanted to justify on that. And I am not going to say this is the correct way for this Yasuie deck profile either. But this is more like the version that everybody will see, even like through Japan, with like the absurd amount of grade 3s with Muto in here as well. But I do have a slight tech and a different route of the grade 1s, which you guys will see. But I'm not going to waste your time. I do want to clarify, though, I also want to thank some of my friends at my locals because they were helping me test out this deck and all its other ways of playing it, because I didn't have access to the grade 1, grade 3 searcher, and you won't see that in this list either. But I will tell you what you could put in if you had the grade 1, grade 3 searcher in this deck instead. Yeah, they were very helpful for me in testing my Tachikaze deck and testing Yasuie. So big shout outs to them. All right, I'm not gonna waste any more time. Leave a like and subscribe if you're gonna enjoy the deck profile. Let's get into it. First off, we are obviously playing 4 copies of Stealth Rogue of Revelation Yasuie. So Yasuie here is the main grade 3 you want to ride. It is a Vanguard Act, Chrono Bust 1, Soul Bust 1. Choose 2 of my units and search my deck or drop zone for up to 1 card with the same card name as each of those units. Call them to rear guard, and if you search my deck, and if I search the deck, shuffle the deck. That includes I can clone Yasuie itself, and I do really enjoy sometimes doing that, because not only does that thin out my grade 3s or get some rid of the grade 3s I search for, but one of the grade 1s I play instead of the grade 3 searcher, which is the card you might replace for it, is actually one of the cards that actually benefits from having another grade 3, and it's not really known, but it's good for this deck. The other one is a forced skill, which you do not have a choice. At the end of the battle, if this unit attacked, discard 2 cards from your hand and write an Ambush, Demon, Stealth Rogue, Yasuie Tenma from my drop zone as stand, and it gets minus drive 1 until the end of turn. You do get the Excel circle, you just don't get the act skill of riding Yasuie Tenma. So that's it for Revelation Yasuie. Of course, grade 3 that we come from Yasuie Revelation is, of course, Tenma. So we need to play 4 copies of Tenma. Tenma is also Excel, and it's on Vanguard Counter Blast 1, no Soul Blast, but instead of choosing 2, I choose 1 of my units and search my deck or drop zone for up to 1 card. Call it to rear guard for search my deck, shuffle the deck, same part of that. But the different part about it is its auto skill. So it has an auto skill on rear guard. If it attacks, this unit gets plus 10k until the end of that battle. In exchange, at the end of the battle, I have to retire this unit. So a good idea is if you don't have a Revelation Yasuie, if I don't have a Yasuie Tenma in your drop zone, you can call Yasuie Tenma from your hand, or and then attack with it for a really good unit to attack with, and then put it at the end of the battle, at the end of the turn. And then when you do this, you can also return an opponent's rear guard to the bottom of his or her deck, which is really good. It's like having a miniature Gear Chronicle mechanism inside of this deck. But Yasuie Tenma can also be discarded to the drop zone very easily, not just through ways of PGs, but yeah, through its own effect, or you can even dump it with Awazu masks, and that will sometimes even do that. You just don't turn off your brain when playing this deck, because yeah, you have an absurd amount of grade 3s, and how you get around to your opponent's next turn, that's the main trick, or how you put out the most damage with what you got. So yeah, that's Yasuie Tenma. And like I said, this deck runs an absurd amount of grade 3s, and this is no exception, because we still have 2 more grade 3s to go over. And this is the one, Stealth Fiend One-Eyed Muto. This card kind of acts like a grade 1, except it does so without a shield marker, which really does sometimes, I will admit, I've sometimes wanted to cut this card down to 3 and play one more grade 1 just so I have an extra a card with a shield, and I still might honestly do that, but for now this is what the list I have. So what Muto is if you, on rear guard, if you have another card with unit with the same name as this unit on Vanguard rearguard circle, this unit gets boost in auto at the end of the turn. If you have 5 or more units, put this unit into your soul and draw a card. So it's a good way to dig through your deck on an another way of drawing outside of your Excel 2 deck markers, which is honestly the only way you play this deck. There's no ifs, ands, or buts you play Excel 2. You have to play Excel 2. Otherwise, you're going to lose your hand so badly, it's not even funny. You have to play Excel 2. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. It's a really big boosted unit, and it's also another way of drawing. And how you get this unit out of the soul is you can also use, you can choose your Soul Blast unit card for Revelation Yasuie. You also have access to the other and last grade 3 you play in the deck, which is the 1 copy of Shirayuki. Since Shirayuki requires the Soul Blast of 2, you can obviously just choose to Soul Blast Muto out of the soul so that you can superior call it with chosen units again. And this deck can actually really afford to play the 1 copy of Shirayuki that's limited, because it does run the grade 1 in that it can run the grade 1 that puts into the soul to return Shirayuki very easily. And you also have the ability to dump it from the deck, which is kind of like adding it with the effect of Awazu Mess, which is actually the first grade 2 we're going to be talking about, and that's all for the grade 3s. We got a hefty 13 grade 3s in this deck, I gotta say. It's pretty big grade 3 lies. It's like almost like the Morikawa deck. Now we're talking about Awazu. So Awazu is really good, and I feel like this card is like the MVP of this deck. This card is like turbo out whatever I need whenever I need it. Because whenever it's placed on rear guard, I can search my deck for up to 1 card and put it into the drop zone, shuffle the deck, and this unit gets this card named to the end of the turn. And it's a 4 skill. So I have to dump a card every single time, and this card is just like, okay, I need to get this in the drop zone because I'm missing this card piece. Okay, dump, 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 dump. And then thin out deck so I get more access to triggers. So really good, and I like Awazu for that. It's a very good staple grade 2. Like it. This grade 2 is one of the cards that people have said this is not, you do not run this unit, and I still am running this unit because I found it to be very successful, including against some of the matchups nowadays, and that is 4 copies of Stealth Beast Whitemane. People were hating on me for the last time for on my deck profile for playing this unit because it's not really, they don't feel it's like a really good unit, and I strongly disagree. So the reason I'm saying that Whitemane is a really good unit, not only does it get 5k for each of you in the battle for Stealth Beast Whitemane on my rear guard and in drop zone, so whenever this unit swings, and if they leave this unit unattended, this unit can become a very big problem for them. And sometimes people waste like retiring abilities like through Berserk Dragon just to get rid of Whitemane, but all that does is really just fuel up Whitemane even more. And Awazu has another dump target in the choice of Whitemane, so that way I can dump out the Whitemanes I need out from the deck if I'm forced to use Awazu's skill and I've already dumped everything else I want. I just dump a Whitemane so that way I can get access to Whitemane later, or the Whitemanes I already have get more power. So I really feel like Whitemane's a really good unit and a really slept on unit. If you want to play something else other than Whitemane, you could actually take out 1 Whitemane, take out 1 grade 2 slot from this and add to the grade 1s and replace the new grade 1 I play 3 of, if that makes any sense. Basically, I'm saying you would take this unit, replace it with the grade 1, the grade 1, grade 3, and then 3 copies of this can be like Fushimi or I'm trying to think of another unit you can play in this situation. Basically, any other grade 2 that you wanted to play over Whitemane, you can do so. But I would still play the 3 copies of the next card I'm playing. You might actually even be able to up that to 4 and play 2 Midori Pyro. Actually, that's exactly what you would do. If you wanted to don't want to play Whitemane, you replace the 3 copies of the 4 copies of Whitemane with another copy of Yutogi and 2 copies of Midori Pyro. And speaking of Yutogi, after the 4 copies of Whitemane, that's exactly what we have is 3 copies of Yutogi. Demon Claw, Stealth Rogue Yutogi, to be exact. Yutogi here is a great unit on the rearguard circle, because on Vanguard, first off, on Vanguard, it gets plus 3k for every of your Demon Claw, Rogue, Rogue on Vanguard rearguard circle, but it doesn't really matter. But you can actually search out Yutogi very easily on your turn you ride it, because on Vanguard rearguard, when it's placed from hand, counterblast 1 and soul blast 1, search my deck or drop to one copy of Demon Claw Stealth Rogue Yutogi and call it to rearguard. If I search my deck, shuffle my deck. This is a very good start off, because it guarantees me that I will have at least one unit I can always superior call back from the drop zone if I have Yutogi on the rearguard. And all I have to do is just soul blast and make sure that the other Yutogi stays on the field. So I really like Yutogi for that, and it's a great card as well. That's it for the grade 2s. On to the grade 1s. This is a very small grade 1 count, and this is probably the weakness of the deck. If you don't open up a grade 1, you're not going to get anywhere. But we do play 4 copies of Wisteria Flower Stealth Rogue Takehime. Takehime is my idea of a grade 3 searcher for this deck, because it's when placed on the Vanguard circle, I'll look at 7 cards from the top of my deck and reveal up to 1 Yasuie and his card name and put it into your hand and shuffle your deck. And if I have Vanguard with Yasuie auto once per turn, I can counterblast 1 with when a Yasuie is placed and choose one of my units and call up the same 1 card for chosen unit from your drop zone, which is really good. That can even be activated during the battle phase since it's an auto skill. So if you superior ride Tenma, you can retire, you can counterblast 1 and call over something else that already attacked just to make another unit column. So it's pretty good. And then this is the grade 1 that I have been playing over the grade 1, grade 3 searcher. I actually, in honestly opinion, if you really did want to play the grade 1, grade 3 searcher, I would actually only play 3 copies of it and just replace this, because I still think that you need at least 2 copies of Rainy Madame. But here's the grade 3 that I'm playing over the grade 3 searcher. Yeah, grade 3 searcher. I mean, grade 1, grade 3 searcher. Stealth Dragon Wrigglebiter here is a Vanguard 0 promo card that Murakumo got. And this card actually probably is like slept under the radar, but for how much you can, because its skill is like miniature but effective in this deck. So what Wrigglebiter here does is on rearguard circle, if I have a unit with the same name as my Vanguard on rearguard circle, this unit gets plus 4k. So it doesn't matter if it's on the front row, it make an easy, good front row, or an even bigger booster. But the point is, since you're able to clone even Yasuie itself when you ride Yasuie, you can easily make that Wrigglebiter skill active at any point in time. So I really think Wrigglebiter is a pretty good unit. Again, if you want to play the grade 1, grade 3 searcher, I would replace these 3 copies of Wrigglebiter with 3 copies of that grade 1. And then, of course, for the last grade 1s, I told you I play 2 copies of Rainy Madame. This is what I'm struggling with. I want to kind of dump my 4th Nudo down to 3 Nudo and add a 3rd copy of Madame. And after testing, I might do that. But for now, I'm running 2 Rainy and 4 Nudo. You can intertwine that or as much as you can, but I would never go lower than 3 Nudo. That's all for the main deck. I'm actually going to go on to the trigger units now. I play 8 front in the form of 4 Fox Tamer Izuma and 4 copies of Stealth Beast Ahead Panther. So I feel like front triggers are an absolute necessity in this deck, since this deck kind of lacks in power, especially if you have a weak Vanguard column. So after testing, I was playing a wave 6 front and 6 draw on my last one, but after testing out with my friends, I realized that front triggers are an absolute necessity, because I was struggling to get over some of their big Vanguards after they even damage checked 1 trigger. So I definitely feel like front triggers are an absolute necessity in this deck, and I'm probably not even going to take ever out 8 fronts. Like, I seriously believe 8 fronts is like a godsend needed for this deck, just to make some of the columns that struggle in power to hit over. Then, obviously, we still need to have our PGs, and that is where our 4 draw triggers come in, as they are the 4 draw PGs of Stealth Beast, Leviathan, Mirage. And then, obviously, we have our 4 heals, which is the form of Stealth Fiend Yakihime. And then after Yakihime heal triggers, we have our starter, which for me, I play Stealth Beast Cat Devil. That is really it for the deck profile, though. Actually, if you guys are done... what I'm trying to say is I forgot to mention that if you also have the Blitz marker, this is the one you would be playing, which is Blitz Order. All right. That's it for the deck profile. If you guys enjoyed this deck profile, do me a favor, show some love down below on the like and subscribe button. It would be greatly appreciated. Otherwise, thank you guys for tuning in. And this is Yasuie signing out. Peace out, everybody.